Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. I'm Tony Haggerty at Haggerty10 on a Twitter handle, and I'm joined today by Sean Martin at Sean Martin TCW Twitter handle. It's Tuesday, the 18th of April. Sean, how are you?
All good, Tony. Aye, and I've just noticed I've not put the wee ticker along the bottom there, so it leads you in nicely into the next part. But
it does indeed. Well, what can I say? Get involved, ladies and gentlemen. You could be at Hampden for the Scottish Cup semi-final, Celtic versus Rangers on Sunday, April the 30th. And all you have to do to be with a chance of winning these two tickets is to subscribe to the Celtic Way. We thank everybody that has subscribed already. Thank you very much for that. But if you want to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. It'll cost you £4 for 4 months of unlimited access to everything that we do on the website. And that's by the click of a button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. £4 for 4 months. Get involved, bargain as well. And if you do get involved and you're a new subscriber, you'll get a form to fill in. Fill it in and your name will be automatically in the mix for the tickets. And if you're an existing subscriber, there'll be an email dropping into your inbox. Do the same, fill that in, and you'll be in with a chance of being at Hampden. So good luck with that. And the closing date is Thursday, April the 27th. So all the best troops, but get involved. You know you want to. Could be a chance to see Celtic create a bit of history in the making if they can manage to negotiate that semi-final hurdle. Now, we also say thank you to SENECA, and as everybody knows, the Celtic Way Morning Briefing is now sponsored by SENECA Medical Group. SENECA are the #1 hair transplant company in Europe, and they offer innovative hair restoration treatments. And you can find out more about SENECA via the links in the description of this video. Now, Sean, speaking about everything that's written on the website, we want to involve you guys today because you did a newsletter, didn't you? On the 102 goals that Celtic have scored so far this season. And what we wanted to know, Sean's broken them down into left foots, right foots, headers. You know what Sean's like. Top stats man, rain man, call him what you like, top man. He's the man, basically. And he's broken it all down in there. He's put it in the link there, the comment section. You can have a read at that. It's excellent. Wonderful stuff. But we wanted to know, Sean, the viewers, what's their domestic league goal of the season so far? 102 to choose from. Get your goals of the season in that comment section, guys, and we'll discuss them as we're going along. And also on the website, we have a wonderful piece from Stuart Ross and his usual self dissecting UK Kobayashi's performance at Rugby Park. Now, we spoke at length about UK Kobayashi yesterday, Sean, but Stuart's broken it down into various passes and various thoughts on, stats bomb overload. That he just class shot, brilliant. Exactly. So take a bow, young man. 102 goals dissected, but yes. Do you have a favourite, Sean, or have I just put you on the spot?
No, I don't know if I do. Gosh, the numbers and maths, man, is there, Sean? I don't know. I'm not sure. We were talking before there. That Jota one, the wee dink in the derby still stands out to me. And you're right.
Duffy's in there, that one.
Aye, Peter Duffy's one. Yeah. You also suggested that I might, because it's me, suggest one of Greg Taylor's, either the Hearts winner or the Livingston goal. And that is up there as well, because it meant to get. I mean, he was already getting his credit this season, whereas last season I still think there was reservations from some quarters. But to get a couple of important goals like that was good for him. So they're up there as well.
Here's one I mentioned to you off here. Sean Miller's goal against Hibs is Christopher Mullen's goal this season. That's the one he cut inside and just unleashed a belter into the top corner.
Mm-hmm. Just on the subject of goals, on the 102 breakdown, I said it at the start, but I've said it on here before as well. But I just reiterated it that the goals record that they're chasing, they can surpass the Invincibles, and I think they probably will because we've got 6 games left. But the record that they're actually chasing is Willie Maley's 1915-16 side, right? And I said to you the other day, they scored 20 goals in their last 6 matches to get to 116 goals in the league. So as Postecoglou's team would only need to score 14 in their last 6 to surpass that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Aye, 13. 14. No, 14. Aye,
14. Yeah.
in the last 6 to 15 surely, because they need to get 117. So 15 to surpass that. But the context for this is the Lisbon Lions side, 1966-67 team. They only had 34 league games. So although they only got 111 goals, their goals per game was higher than either of them. So for that kind of, I know it's not really a record, but for my record, for that record, they would need to get, this current team would need to get 125 league goals to have a better goals per game league ratio than the Lisbon Lions team.
Lions. Okay.
Which is, I don't know if they'll do that, to be honest, because even this team that's averaging over 3 goals a game, you still need to go something to be able to get that, the same as the 66-67 squad, isn't it?
I'm laughing at Beach Boys' comments.
It's simple maths as well.
You said yesterday maths was your strong point. Yes.
I never was good at that. I was always more of a words man.
Yes.
I've got something else for you, Tony. But before we get back into the nitty gritty of it, right? I'm going to flash something up on the screen here, right? I'm going to put it up for a minute or so, and I'm going to ask you all the questions. Not you, Tony, because you'll have seen it. It's in the system already.
All right.
I'm going to flash this up on the screen, right? And I'm going to ask the question to you: what links the players in the montage, and why am I putting it up today? Right, and the first in with the correct answer to both of those questions wins a pat on the back from Tony and me, I think. And even better if you can name all the players on it as well. And I'll leave it up for a bit. I'll leave it up for a wee bit, and then we'll come back to it if somebody comes in with answers. But batter on, Tony. What were we going to talk about anyway?
So we were talking about goals of the season, people getting them in. Lots of people sort of saying about Jota's chip. Pete McGee coming in, so many goals to choose from. Easy to pick one by Kyogo, but for me, Jota's chips from such an acute angle will live long in the memory. I think it was the pass from O'Reilly and the celebration after that all kind of contributed to that being a favourite goal of many people. And as I say, this celebration become a meme. It's become, drawings, art, you name it, iconic. Kaiser coming in, yeah.
It's the Jota one. He's done that celebration a few times now.
He has done it, yes.
But that was the great showcase of it, was it?
Yes, it was indeed. And we're also talking Kobayashi, the breakdown by Stuart Ross, who gives in detail lots of his stuff. You want to read that, it's excellent. Usual Stuart Ross dissection.
I mean, we kind of teased it yesterday because he'd says to me that's what he was hoping to do, and didn't disappoint. It's the headline I've put on it is, for instance, Stuart suggests that there's a couple of things he did in that game on Sunday that Starfield couldn't do, but that Stuart thinks even Carter Vickers might have struggled to replicate as well. And I just think that is massive praise. That's lofty praise. And I know it's only one game, but it still bodes well. Tony, I'm still dead intrigued to see him. And this is no slight on Starfield again, but I'm just dead intrigued to see him in a defence with Johnston, Carter Vickers, and then Taylor on the other side of him and just see how it goes.
Yeah. No, I'm loving the suggestions for what links these guys. Derek Crawford's coming with a belter here.
We'll keep it.
The All Black Holmes and Dion Dublin and Holmes under the hammer.
Charlie McGarvey saying, great article yesterday, good to read about Vata. That was the stats bomb. I could put that up as well, actually. That's the stats bomb data roundup that I do after every game, every league game. And I just felt I would draw attention to Rocco Vata's cameo because he wasn't on for all that long. It was 24 minutes or something. Yep. But he played one key pass, put it that way, right? And I'm going to get into the kind of advanced data here, but StatsBomb gives you an expected goal assisted value, and his one key pass, which was that cross for that O'Neilly put in, carried a higher individual one than any of the other Celtic players. So I felt, for the fact that he was on for 24 minutes in a game and a half that was kind of sloppy, as Ange Postecoglou called it, I thought he done all right. Actually, I thought he kind of made a small case for himself that if he gets a wee shot, that he'll do something of note. Yeah,
fair enough. Good enough to mention. Yep. Jota's free kick, says Kaiser Madrid, was class. Watershed moment for the player arriving on the big stage.
You wrote a newsletter exactly about that, didn't you?
I did indeed, yeah.
That was his announcement. The stage he was always meant to be on, that kind of thing.
Yep, we did indeed.
M. Young comes in saying already he thinks Carter Vickers and Kobayashi should be the centre-half partnership on Saturday against Motherwell. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I just don't see Carol Starfield being dropped, and I think it would be dropped rather than rested at this stage if you were to be rotated out the team for that, Tony. I don't think he's going to be. I think, unfortunately, even though I think Kobayashi was really, really good and I want to see more of him, I think all things being equal, we'll probably be back to Carter Vickers and Starfelt on Saturday, do you think?
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't think Carol Starfelt's done anything to merit not being in the side, but now here's one.
Oh, yeah.
Steve McGrory, most important goals of school at Ibrox. We won the league at that moment. The home crowd reaction reminded me of one of my favourite Simon and Garfunkel songs, The Sound of Silence. So
Steve's a big music man, isn't he?
Yeah, I just have to say, Steve, hello darkness, my old friend. How you doing, Steve? Good morning. Always a regular contributor and good lad to boot. Yep, Steve, that was an important goal, yeah. Gussie O'Connor comes in with our thoughts, Sean off camera. Too many good goals to pick from. Yep. And
Pludge McNugget saying play a back three. We've had this discussion before. I don't think he will. I don't think he will in Scottish football, but like he has before. This isn't me saying that he won't do it because he's never done it. He has played a back three before in his career as Postecoglou, and he certainly it would be intriguing to see Carter Vickers, Starfelt in the middle, and then Kobayashi in the left. I don't think he'll do it. I think the 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 variation suits what he wants from his players more than a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. But I wouldn't be averse to seeing it, just to see it, just to see how it goes.
Yes, he likes to throw curveballs in now and again, doesn't he? But I don't think he'll take a chance with as you're counting down towards the title. No chance.
Angelo Tyros, I mean, it only takes one good performance for people to say, right, get Starfelt out, Tony, innit? Angelo Tyros says, Angie's too loyal to drop Starfelt for Kobayashi, even though Kobayashi is better on the left. It's too early to say, really, innit? But I do want to see more of him.
But Andrew Gilly is right with this. Kobayashi's time will come.
Yeah.
Totally believe that.
Kaiser, his tongue falling in his cheek there, saying punt CCV, punt Carter Vickers, move Starfelt to his natural position, and then play Kobayashi more. Kaiser's
always full of these wild accusations of punting players, isn't he, and getting money in and buying people at Mudrick and all that, you know. So
loving the Jota chip. Patrick McLaughlin coming in. I think you get, to be honest, see the Callum McGregor one, which I know wasn't what you'd call them, the Pittodrie one, aye. It's not what you'd call the most, it's like the best goal Callum McGregor scored in the last couple of years. I'd give that to the Michelin goal, or the one up at Pittodrie when it hit off his rear end. But that sticks in my mind as well, just because of the context and the way that game was playing out, and it would have been seen as a victory for anti-football if they'd managed to get a point that day, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but I agree with that, Sean. But yeah, I think everybody's just going through the Rolodex of Celtic fixtures this season and picking out goals, like what you're doing yourself, trying to remember them most of the time. Mm-hmm. Because they've scored so many, there is that many to choose from. So
there was a question in there about what do you call a team that outperforms the Invincibles, and then suggest the Incredibles?
Yes. K-Matsu came in Masters of the Universe. I think that was probably a relation to that question as well. So correct. And I also liked Maida's goal at Ibrox the same day Steve McGrory was talking about. I thought he did really well with the Morelos assist, wasn't it? Alfredo Morelos assist, loose ball, and
yes, when he skipped past
Tavernier, wasn't it?
Tavernier, and then slotted it past McGregor. I like that one. That's a good shoot up, actually.
Yeah. So indeed, but I think we're picking out quite a lot of goals. Now we mentioned this yesterday, Sean, but we'll speak about it because it was a wonderful result for Celtic women's team on Sunday. Fran Alonso's side kept their hopes of a first title very much alive with a brilliant 4-2 win over Glasgow City. They even missed 2 penalties in the process, Sean. But they're homing in the title, aren't they? They're trying, they're giving it their utmost.
They are, aye. As you say, 4-2 win over Glasgow City. Natasha Flint get 2, Caitlin Hayes get 1, Natalie Ross get 1. Chloe Craig and Natalie Flint Natasha Flint, both missed a penalty as well, which is just both second half penalties. But to still see out the game against a team like Glasgow City, despite missing 2 penalties, it's still something to be said for that. Puts them back second, Tony, above Rangers, closes the gap on Glasgow City to 5 points. Still 7 games left, so plenty of time to try and overhaul that. It was their first win at Petershill, Fran Alonso said after it, and the only time that Glasgow City have been beaten at all in the league this season. But you put it this way, Fran Alonso was absolutely buzzing after it.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw his quotes, but he said he just came right out and said, if we carry on like that, we can go all the way and achieve our dream.
I did see
it's
that.
a big win, Tony, and he's no battles and coming forwards at saying so, Fran Alonso.
But I think after something like that, if you can't be confident after beating Glasgow City, so, and it's the first time that they did that, away. So you've got to, big up yourself, put your shoulders back and say, right, we can do this. And I think that sends the right message out to the girls as well. The women's team thinking, right, bit between the teeth, few games to go, let's give it one last hurrah. And I'm sure they were always planning that anyway, but what a great result that is, what a confidence booster that is, and that just gives you that drive and ambition to go for it now in the games that are left. What's stopping you? You've proven that you can beat the best team in the league for years and years and years and years. So go and do it again in the games that are left and go and beat your rivals as well.
And the thing is, they've already faced in the post-split, you get 10 games post-split because you play the top 5 twice, right? They started basically by playing Rangers and Glasgow City in 2 of the first 3 games away.
Yes.
And they've took 4 points from those 2. That's the team above them, the team below them. So it's in terms of starts to that post-split run of fixtures goes, I suppose technically you could get better if you won both of them, but realistically, 4 points from 6 against those 2 is a great start to that, and no wonder he's sitting there saying, well, exactly what's stopping them.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping them, and I think it would be a wonderful season, wouldn't it, if Celtic men's team win the title, which we're kind of counting down for that, and the women's team could emulate the men. I think that'd be great, and it'd be great to have them all on the pitch for trophy presentation day if that was if that could be possible. And Celtic women's team did that. I think that'd be a wonderful celebration of everything Celtic, Sean.
Yeah, it would
come
be.
the end of the season, if both teams could win their respective titles, I think that'd be a wonderful day. That
Kevin Ferrier saying Flint's goal was a cracker. Beach Boys saying Celtic Football Club equals penalty missers, because that was 3 3 missed over the weekend. G says Jacinta had a great performance. We'll get this as well, Tony. Curtis says it was a big win for the girls. Hope they can do it along with the B team. Would be some years for the whole club.
Yeah, I mean the B team are and with the shouts right. Yeah, listen, if they all managed it, then what a party you could have on the last day of the season with everybody. I think that would be, as I said just there a second ago, what a wonderful celebration of everything Celtic. If they could win all those titles, it would be brilliant. It would, there are moments in life that make you feel proud to be a Celtic supporter. That would be up there. It's one of them. They all came together and it all just kind of fell into place for every one of the teams. I think that'd be pretty special.
I agree. Helen Feeks coming in saying Jacinta is a super wee player. She can move and play. And then we have, Robert Wall says should do that regardless, Tony. But I get what you mean. If they actually win the league,
yes,
title winners parade and their trophies on that day, and all
that. Yeah, everything.
Chilpal with a wee reality check saying nobody else will beat Glasgow City though. So you obviously need a favour from somebody else at some stage in the last 7 games.
Yeah, but you got to react to your defeat, Chilpal, and could be rocked by that. Maybe pressure. You don't know. Stranger things have happened. So you always live in hope that you can chase it down, don't you, and win the title. So nothing's impossible. And Celtic women's team have got the bit between the teeth and they're certainly going for it. And Fran Alonso is in confident mood, and quite rightly so, Sean.
Very much so, aye. And we've got Hale Squared coming in here off the back of Curtis's comment saying, have I missed the B team vote chat? You haven't. No, we went to the women's team first because we promised we were going to do that, because we ended up going an hour yesterday and never mentioned it, or never got a chance to mention it because of all the Kilmarnock chat. So no, Tony, B team vote chat, did you see all that?
I did indeed, yes. They've been voted in again, haven't they? The B team: Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, Hearts. B team are allowed to compete in the Lowland League next season. Caused consternation with some teams, especially East Stirling. They went to their social media channels and said that they weren't in agreement with it, and said that the talk was cheap. It's actions that speak louder than words, and they were very vocal about their protest with allowing that, Sean, weren't they? East Stirling.
Aye, they were. Aye. To be honest, I remember back the last time this was out, and I expected more opposition than what there was.
Yes.
So I wasn't that surprised that maybe they voted in favour again this time. But just now, Celtic, Rangers and Hearts, it's not Aberdeen's aren't in it, but Celtic, Rangers and Hearts have competed in it this year. And Celtic and Rangers B teams are right up there. Celtic are second, Rangers are third. Spartans are, obviously, they can't get promoted. So even if they finish third and they were to finish first and second, the team in third would win the league and would get promoted. But Spartans are actually top of the league anyway, so it doesn't really matter at this point. Hearts aren't doing that well. They're 13th, but fundamentally, I suppose the backdrop of all this is the talk of like restructure and a conference league and all that. More restructuring of the pyramid. So I suppose you'll need to wait and see how that plays out. But at the moment, the very least that seems to going to be happening is that they'll be back in the Lowland League.
Yeah, with Aberdeen next season, is that right?
I think Aberdeen were talking about it, but whether it's been confirmed, I don't know. Because it's Celtic, Hearts and Rangers this season, I know that. There was a bit of consternation about the Aberdeen one, whether they were quite ready for it and stuff. But I suppose first and foremost, to put it to you, Tony, and you guys as well, do you think it's worked as a B team? I mean, you saw 2 B team prospects coming on at the weekend, but was that more to do with the injuries in the team than anything else? And I suppose is that still as legitimate a way as any to get in the squad? But does it reinforce that the B team pathway is working, or is there still work to be done there, do you think?
I think it's a kind of hybrid of both, isn't it? I think both the B team players were there. Yeah, there was injuries, but you'd like to think they were there in merit as well. And you highlighted Rocco Vata's contribution. He actually did okay. He came on, so and I think it warms the cockles of Celtic supporters' hearts when they see one of their own coming on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they encourage that, and I think Angie's trying to make sure that pathway's there, and Pete Reedy is competing alone, going to help youth come through. It's the closest thing they've got to kind of reserve team football, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah.
So in old money, and if they can't, obviously they can't get promoted, but they're certainly playing competitive games every week. And obviously Ange has made sure that the training is the same as the first team, so that step up when you do get called into the first team, there's no real disparity and difference. So they're just emulating what they're doing on a daily basis with the first team than it would be with the Lowland League team or the B team, if you want to call them. So yeah, I think it's helping. It's maybe not accelerated youth players into the first team as quickly as many would think, but I think the last few weeks are showing that it is working, isn't it? With the likes of Rocco Vata and Ben Summers making it, and regardless if there's guys that are injured, you still want young youth players to at least push for that. And it's still, as I say, you look at that bench and you see a youth player, your first thought is, I hope he gets minutes. And Ben Summers came on at the weekend for like a couple of minutes, and you were just like, good on you, son. Nobody can take that away from you now. He's played for Celtic, and it's a big moment for young guys, and the more the merrier, Sean. And these guys, you have to big them up when they're doing something right in the B team, and they deserve mention for even making the bench, but even more so for getting minutes on the park.
You've got Stephen McManus, obviously alongside Darren O'Dea, but Stephen McManus in particular, because he was part of the first team coaching setup last year, he was asked to kind of go down to the B team and make sure that there was a coherent kind of, not part of what I use the word pathway all the time, but a coherent vision in terms of what they were hoping to play, what they were hoping to do in training, so that when they asked, like in 5, 6, whatever it is, 2, 3 B team players coming and train with the first team this week, that in terms of what they're doing shouldn't be a surprise, put it that way. I think David Ferguson comments fair. Just because you don't get promoted doesn't mean you can't improve. I do think there's a limit to that. I think I will defend the quality of the Lowland League in the sense that when you're comparing the Lowland League and some of the players that are in it to like League 2 or whatever, I don't think there is much of a difference, because there's some players playing lower leagues and Lowland leagues that probably could be playing even higher, but it doesn't actually make sense for them financially in terms of work. It's more beneficial for them to be a part-time Lowland League or League 2 or whatever player than it is to be a full-time Championship player. See that all over the place. Seen it when I was up in Aberdeen. There's a few of those guys in the Highland League as well. Plenty of those guys in the Highland League, actually. So I don't necessarily think promotion in and of itself necessarily means that you'd be better, but I do think at some stage the Lowland League probably isn't the level that you want them to be playing at religiously. I think it's fine for a grounding, which I think is what Celtic are aiming to use it for. I think it's fine for a grounding, a kind of a regular, proper competitive league setup, get them involved in that, then the training does its own thing, and then hopefully they impress when they're in the first team training, or when, like Rocco Vata and Ben Summers, when they get the odd chance on the bench and to come on. But I think ultimately, I think that there's probably a medium in there. There's probably a middle ground where maybe it's a loan spell if they can't get into the first team squad after a certain amount of time in the B team. But the thing is, with Rocco Vata, he's still 17. I mean, he's actually 18 today. I think it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, young man. But he's still plenty of time. So it's very, very good for him that it's at this age that he's getting this chance. It's maybe different if you're 20, 21.
Yeah, I also think that there should be promotion. I think they should be able to play at championship level, Sean, but not get promoted from there.
So right up, like basically the Barcelona, Real Madrid B type of thing.
The Segunda B,
you can't get in La Liga, that kind of thing.
And they do it in Holland as well, don't they, with young Ajax and young AZ and all that. So I think that would be, beneficial to everybody if they can get to the championship, but they can't win it. They can't come up from there. So I think that would be a decent grounding as well. You could go all the way through leagues, League 1, League 2, or League 2, League 1, then Championship. So I think you would notice the difference then. But again,
that would require a vote.
I was going to say they would have to vote for that. So
I don't think it would be forthcoming. But then you never know, because the Lowland League one caused a bit of a kerfuffle to begin with, and I mean, look what's happened there. There's only been kind of one or two kind of vocal elements against it after a couple of seasons doing it. So you never know. But I think that's obviously the model that we're going with the B teams. But I think, given the structure of Scottish football, the mentality in some ways, I suppose, of a lot of the clubs, it would require a vote that I don't think would be forthcoming. But that was the model, wasn't it? The Spain and the Netherlands one that you mentioned. Yeah,
and I know Charlie coming in here and saying other clubs were looking for compensation, Tony. Yeah, I understand that, but that's something they'd have to vote on and get their heads around the table and adopt a sensible attitude towards it, I think. So I think that would be the future, wouldn't it, Sean?
I think so. I mean, again, it maybe depends what happens with the supposed talks about a full restructure, with maybe the conference kind of league that they were talking about and different things like that. So we'd need to see what happens with that first and foremost. But Kaiser coming in saying happy 18th, holy Vata.
Very good, Kaiser. Keep your goals of the season coming in, guys.
I'll return to this, Tony. You flashed up the Dion Dublin comment, but we've had a few. Kaiser coming in just saying they're all Celtic players and you like them. I mean, technically that's correct, but no, it's not that. Jerry Smith saying all signed for Celtic on this day, no. Kevin Ferrer saying they all captain Celtic, nope. Where's the other one? There's two that are very, very close here. Do you want me to just give you the answer, Tony? I know you've seen it in the...
Go on, everybody other was there.
The closest that came was probably either one of these comments. So Patrick says, were they all 37 when they won their last trophy with Celtic? And William O'Toole said, is it their age playing for the Hoops is at 36 and there's a birthday today? Very, very close. Very, very... Oh, Plunge McNugget saying is Tony Haggerty the same age as these guys. That's shocking behaviour. Shocking. Yes, Patrick, it has something to do with ages. It is actually, Tony, and you'll have seen it if you looked in the system.
Yeah,
because I done it yesterday. But the actual answer is, which means nobody's getting a pat in the back. You might get a half one. The thing linking them all is they're the top 10 oldest players to turn out in a competitive first team match for Celtic. And why this date, Tony? It's because it was on the 18th of April in 1925 that Alec McNair, who is, if you look, the top quadrant, he's the second one down. He set the record that still stands. He was 41 years old, 41 years, 113 days old when he played in a 1-1 draw with Queen's Park. 21st year as a Celtic player at that point, Tony. Some stat.
That is knowledge is the bomb, as they say, Sean. Yes, that's an excellent stat. Yeah, and
just if you're wondering now, you can name them all if you want, Tony, or we can name them all. Sorry, if they want, because quite hard. Some of the black and white photos there, maybe not everybody's kind of familiar. I actually wanted Aiden to be on was just to see him squirm with the black and white photos there. What's that?
Right, go on, name them for the viewers,
Right,
Sean.
top quadrant, right? Charlie Shaw, top left. Yep. Next to him on the right's Willie McStay. Directly under him is Jimmy McMenemy, and then to the left of him is Alec McNair that sparked this whole thing with his 41 years performance. The big two pictures, obviously Dion Dublin at the bottom left and Daniel Fergus, as you refer to him, in the top
Daniel
right.
Fergus, yes. No surname required. Cockney rhyming slang for the train. The Daniel Fergus, yeah.
Bottom right quadrant. Can you name a guy in the top left of that quadrant?
That's Doris de Vries, Ronnie Simpson.
It is Doris de Vries. I don't know if you'd remember him, Doris de Vries, because he's the outlier. Even Dion Dublin's a bit an outlier, but Doris de Vries is a great outlier in this. And then, as you say, Ronnie Simpson next to him, Tom Boyd under him, and then Jimmy McStay to the left of Tom Boyd. So, top 10. And the reason I'm putting this up today, not only because it's the anniversary of that Alec McNair record-setting performance, but it's also this evening newsletter, Tony, isn't it? So, spoiler alert. Indeed. It was going to be last night's newsletter, but I felt the 100 goals thing should go first. But so if you subscribe to the newsletter,
on here, Sean. I mean, my mother told me the secret about telling the youth: oil of Olay, it's oil of Ulay, which turned its name to oil of Olay. So I thought I was looking no bad for 50. What did it say? You're awful shifty for a man of 50. There you go. Kevin will be right in. Mr. McGrory will be right in there because I think there's a song about that. Catch me if you can. My name is Dan. Should I'm your man? Something like that. Yeah, I'm sure Mr. McGrory will enlighten me as to the name of that song.
Pete McGee coming in. Ronnie Simpson, what a legend. There's wee write-ups on each of these players in this newsletter later on. And the Ronnie Simpson one, it was hard to kind of stop. It was hard to stop. You always associate him with his nickname, Feather, because he was obviously the oldest of the Lisbon Lions and different things, and he came to Celtic fairly late on and all that. But he was a prodigy, Tony, because he made his debut at Queen's Park at 15.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a misnomer. It was just that stage. It was the oldest, the other stage.
I think, everything came later to Ronnie Simpson, his career, because he played at Wembley, didn't he? That was the first time he played at Wembley too, in '67 when Scotland beat the world champions and became the unofficial world champions. So I think that was the first time he played there. So just you can't look at Ronnie Simpson without Feather, that affectionate term that they all, when thinking of teeth being in bonnets, you know that. I mean, it's just legend, and that legendary back heel in the European Cup final, and just, it's such a unprecedented move for a goalkeeper to do something like that. I can only imagine Jock Stein going off his head when he saw him do that, but he just did it so nonchalantly that it just looked like no problem. Imagine Joe Hart attempting that.
I know.
Heart palpitations. Ronnie Simpson was doing that 50 odd year ago. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? I had a brief panic when I put that. It's got to be a PDF to put it up on this stream when I was making the PDF, and I had a brief panic because Craig Gordon came into my head, Tony. And I'm like, he must have been a fair age. So I spent the last 5-10 minutes before we come on, like trying to do an age calculator to work out what age he was in his last Celtic game, right? And Tom Boyd beats him by 1 day.
Wow, 1 day.
1 day, aye. 1 day.
There you go. Now, for all the ones that are slagging me, I'm going to flash up like going off a Hannah, star. Les, checks in the post, as they say. Thank you for that. But no, I mean, you look at those players and, some wonderful legends there, Sean, as you rightly pointed out.
Steve McGrory says that song escapes him, Tony. He needs a few more lines or clues. I think you need to pay for that, Steve.
I think the Lisdoon Varna, there's a place called Lisdoon Varna that's mentioned as well. Catch me if you can. My name is Dan or something. I don't know. Maybe something like that. I can't remember. Quite remember. But hey, there you go. But we'll see. Somebody will know, or I'll go and find it out for tomorrow. But no, there's some cracking legends in there. Least of all the kind of top right, as I'm looking, Danny McGrain. Just a lot of Celtic supporters' favourite Celt. And I've said this before about the term world class, but that man was world class in the true definition of the word, and was rightfully acclaimed as the best fullback in the world at one point in the 70s, prior to the 74 World Cup. And a legend and a wonderful fella to boot. If you ever get the chance to be in his company, I'll just talk Celtic with him. He's a wonderful man, and he's great. In the dealings I've had with him in my career, he's been absolutely tremendous, and it's no wonder that everybody likes Danny. I read a few comments. Somebody flashed on Twitter the other day, and it was Charlie Nicholas who said that Danny McGrain taught him how to be a real Celt on and off the field. And he said that after training, Danny McGrain would say to him, "Where are you off to?" And he'd say, "Well, go and play snooker or whatever." And he said, "No, you're not. You're going to hospital." And they would go and visit fans in hospital and stuff like that. Back in the 80s, when that kind of thing was, you could. And he said it was unbelievable. Like, you would go to hospitals, you would go and visit people, and the delight when they saw that you would come in and actually spend time with patients and all that. And Charlie said it was really humbling, and he got that from Danny McGrain, and he never kind of lost sight of that in his career. So I big up to Danny for that kind of thing, just taking time with the young boys and say, this is important, this is part of who you are as a Celtic player. You're a club representative on and off the field. So yeah, I like when I hear and I read stuff like that, and they're rightfully lauded as legends.
Seamus Gallagher coming in saying, did Ronnie Simpson not win the FA Cup with Newcastle before he joined Celtic? He won it twice, Tony. Won it twice with Newcastle before he came to Celtic. And I think I
was talking about first time he played at Wembley with Scotland, I think.
Mentioned this in the newsletter as well, in the Simpson entry. As I say, I had to rein it back a wee bit, but I think it's lesser remarked upon aspect to that famous season is that he won the Player of the Year.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper won the Player of the Year in a team that scored 160 odd goals in the season across 5 competitions, won a European Cup, had players like Bobby Murdoch, Jimmy Johnston, Bobby Lennox, Stevie Chalmers, all the rest, and the goalkeeper won the Footballer of the Year, which I think is just a remarkable achievement and a remarkable vote of confidence in your ability.
Yeah, and a vote in your popularity as well. Clearly a popular guy, Sean. Not just also, notwithstanding his ability, but clearly a well-liked man. With that montage, you have nice fight. Don Devontae say something. Homes under the hammer. Yes, exactly.
But see when you look at these, right? There's with all due respect to Doris De Vries and Dion Dublin, right, who just happened to come to Celtic later in their careers. And I know Ronnie Simpson did come later in his career, but not quite as late as they did. All the other 8 are Celtic legends, Celtic greats.
Yeah.
It's through, and this is kind of the thrust of the newsletter, apart from Dublin and De Vries, it's longevity that's left their legacy. I know that they obviously had to play long enough to make this top 10, and they had to play old enough to make the top 10, but 8 out of the 10 are bona fide Celtic greats. And I just think that's wonderful it's obviously a club as storied as Celtic is, but it's just great that this list isn't full of journeymen. A lot of clubs will be. And 8 out of the 10 are bona fide club greats, Tony.
Well, it says it all, really, doesn't it?
Sorry, Dion.
They're scored a goal in a League Cup final, Sean.
He did,
Dublin. Don't know if that qualifies you as a club great, but yes, that's the picture there, isn't it? The celebration picture.
It is, It is. Picked deliberately.
Yes, correct. But some wonderful legends in there, and it all goes back to, as you say, Adrian would be doing 360s with the black and white pictures, but it all goes back to if you know your history, and I think that's the beautiful and wonderful story that is Glasgow Celtic Football Club, isn't it? That they have a rich tapestry of history, and you can pick any era and that the club has evolved in, and you will find someone, something, some stat, some player, some wonderful achievements. And as I say, it makes you proud, doesn't it? You just kind of look at that and you think, wow. And I like you just like to dip your toe into these things now and again, don't you? It's truly fascinating. It's a wonderful football club for that reason, and no wonder so many people out with, homegrown supporters actually fall in love with this football club, because it is a genuinely remarkable story. Tony waxing lyrical again, says Pete McGee, but yes, I think you've got to tip your hat sometimes to the legends of yesteryear, Pete, and that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Yep.
Indeed.
So get subscribing to that newsletter for later on. It's free, by the way. It's free anyway, but
yeah, of course, yes. And goals of the season, guys. If you got any more, throw them in the comment section. But I'm quite surprised, Sean, that nobody actually got the answer to that.
Probably the accumulation of the 10, because kind of when you look at it in Dublin and DeVries are in there, you're kind of going, well, what they got in common with the other 8, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Pete McGee, come back in. Nah, you're too late, Pete. Dye's been cast. That's why we love this club, Tony. Can't agree more. Yeah, laughing. Indeed, this is why we love this club. Correct. Now, just draw your attention to the bottom of your screen. You can win 2 tickets for the Celtic v Rangers Scottish Cup semi-final by subscribing to the Celtic Way. Get yourself involved. Got to do it. And for those who haven't, or for those who have, thank you so much, all the guys in the comment section. Regular contributors, we love it. We spoke about goals of the season. We spoke about heroes from yesteryear. There's not a subject out of bounds, is there, Sean, that we don't cover? I was trying.
There is not.
So subscribe if you enjoy it, and all you have to do is click a button, and it'll cost you £4 for 4 months, and you can get to read everything that's written on the website, unlimited access. And click of a button, as I say, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. And we also say thank you to SENECA. And SENECA, as you all know, are now the sponsors of the Celtic Way morning briefing. SENECA Medical Group are the #1 hair transplant company in Europe, and they offer innovative hair restoration treatments. And you can find out more about SENECA via the links in the description of this video. Excellent, Sean. That's nearly, just shy of 45 minutes again. There you go. Never a dull moment, is there? You're on mute.
No, all good.
Kevin Ferrier just thrown this one in. Jota's goal when he nipped in to beat McGregor. Slipped it away in the 3-2 game. That last week before?
Yep.
Yeah, not the weekend, the other weekend before, yeah. Indeed. Excellent. And Kirsty O'Connor saying the subscription fee is well worth it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes,
Kirsty, we appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Big O's header against Hibs, says Seamus Gallagher. Yep, another good goal, Sean.
Yep, certainly was. There'll be more to come for him as well, I would think.
Indeed. Now, we shall be back tomorrow. Yes, same to you, Kaiser. Have a fantastic Tuesday. Yep, we'll be back hopefully for a wonderful Wednesday. But no, that was a terrific Tuesday. Thanks to Sean for your stats bomb, stats man, and the 10 oldest players to play for the club. That got people thinking, didn't it? Certainly did. But look out for that newsletter coming up. Excellent. Good stuff from Sean. Easy on the hyperbole, Sean. There you go. Or, as you would say...
Just because I wasn't expecting you to put up a comment about a goal there, I was kind of taken aback by it.
As you would say at school, easy on the hyperbole. Right. Depending on which school you went to. Hyperbole or hyperbole, whatever way you want to say it. I'm not bothered, not too fussed. Hail, guys. Great Tuesday. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. But as I say, we appreciate all the comments. We love the community that we've built on the Celtic Way. So, guys, we shall see you tomorrow. We'll do it all again. Same time, same back channel. Round about 10ish, Pete. You know the drill. Take care.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, Tony.